Now entering Nerdist.com.
Yeah. How does everyone sound, Matt?
You sound great. I sound fantastic.
Sexy.
Oh, very.
Me?
Oh, you sound
Everyone
great,
good?
Jonah.
Delightful.
I do.
Is that the sum total of your contribution to the show?
Me?
Delightful.
What do I?
Turn your mic. Turn it to the
So the front of it's facing?
the front. Yeah.
Is that the front?
No, the front has the button on it. The little mic clip. Oh, why did I say
There you
that?
go.
There we
How
go.
was it now?
Yeah.
All right, try it again. Me?
You.
And also, too, you want to go up a little.
Andy Richter. Oh, this is Andy Richter, by the way.
Thanks.
Sound engineer.
Ah,
There. No, that's guns. You want to talk.
Now that is a guy who knows how to work a mic stand.
Andy, you're gonna make me not
Yeah.
slouch. This is
no.
not good. This is sitting up straight. This is good for my self-esteem.
I know.
Yeah, I know. That's why hipsters have to slouch. You got to get below the confidence line.
Exactly. I just got to.
You gotta keep your posture so your
I
spine-
can really leer at everybody.
Just the perfect curve.
This is the judging. You know.
Yeah, because when you're up, you kind of get a view of everything, and you're like, "Hey, we're all the same, and everything's fine." But then when you get down, you can
That's
start
left
judging
down.
on several levels of irony.
Right.
Okay, their pants.
And
They
can
fit.
you can really revel in your double chin.
That's right. And then we just
I like
squash
to
it
take it
down.
back. I like to be taken aback.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can put anything ironic in my chin space. This is the Nerdist Podcast. I'm Matthew Myra is
Hi.
on my left. There's Jonah Ray over there.
Speaking into the mic directly.
And Andy Richter is here.
Hi there.
I'm sorry.
Please email the show and tell me about the increase in Jonah's vocal quality.
You know what?
will happen.
We do get audio nerds who are like, I like the podcast, but you got to fucking fix the sound, buddy. And I'm like, hey, thank you for enjoying your free
You know what?
entertainment.
I wasn't actually talking right into my microphone either.
They're gonna
and now
complain
I
about
am.
the echo again.
We can't help the echo. We're in a room made of glass in a conference room on the 4th floor of the Comcast building, and this
Right.
is unfortunately.
drive by and look at us.
And the
is
whole
unfortunate.
place is surrounded with tall, blonde South Africans wearing gray suits and carrying submachine guns.
Yes, we're under some type
Just
of
try
martial.
to
You
come
want
in
echo.
here.
Some
That's
type
what
of
you
military
get.
martial law.
And also, as
what's gonna happen.
As I was pointing out before we started, these chairs, they're very bouncy.
They are
which
bouncy
is
chairs.
terrible for a podcast.
These are horrible chairs, not the worst chairs in the building. I think each conference room has even more horrible chairs than these.
They try to outdo each other.
Yeah.
This is. I think everyone
called
will agree that every element of the setup of this is probably not right for any kind of broadcasting.
Someone will always
Sure.
find something wrong.
You could hang packing blankets from the ceiling.
Let's do that.
That constitutes trying.
Yeah.
We'd rather not.
No,
Yeah.
see, that's what I'm saying.
See, when Jonah just said we'd rather not try, he slumped down a little bit to get back into it. You're like a transformer, but a hipster. So the way a hipster transforms, just and then you slouch.
Sorry, take what you can get. Go fuck yourself.
But instead of that sound, it's Belle and Sebastian that comes out.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to gush for a second about a show. I did a show last night that was one of the most amazing shows I've ever been a part of. Ed Helms has a bluegrass band, and so he put together this bluegrass weekend at Largo, where Friday Steve Martin played. Steve Martin played banjo, and he apparently played King Tut, and I missed it, and I'm heartbroken.
On a stage that you were on.
And I did last night, and like these musicians, it was like half of Nickel Creek, and the guy who played keyboards for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Sarah Silverman, and Will Arnett, and Paul Scheer, and Tom Lennon. It was a super fun show. And then afterwards, the musicians were like, "Let's go to the little room at Largo and jam." I literally tripped over Jackson Brown as he was unpacking his. I planted my knee right in his fucking back.
Well, he's so little.
Well, he's not that little. He was crouched down, perfect knee hitting height, and then watch them jam for like an hour and a half in the little room.
The
It
Nickel
was
Creek.
crazy.
Nickel Creek has a great cover of Pavement "Spit on a Stranger." That's when I started listening to Nickel Creek.
They covered Morrissey last night.
Oh, really?
It was phenomenal. It was
Tom,
a
did Tom
phenomenal
Lennon
show.
lose his shit when they covered Morrissey?
Yeah, he did. He was standing right behind me, and I turned around and we just had that. Holy shit, dude! Yeah.
The first time that's ever been said to a Morrissey song. Holy shit, dude! It's the Morrissey.
Well, these days it's more Dios mío because he has a very large Latino base.
He does. That's one of my favorite things about him. It's so hilarious.
What did you like about him
Viva
before?
La Hey, large Latino
No, I mean
following.
I liked him on face value first, and then when it turned out, and I moved here, and like, oh my god,
Yeah.
every Cholita and Cholo loves Morrissey.
They love.
Just to let the listeners know, Andy Richter is white.
Yeah, yeah.
Just in case you didn't catch that from
Just in case you've
No.
never seen television.
No, but it's not like they're, Tears for Fears fans, although, in Southern California, that was something that struck me when I first came here, is the amount of, like, new wave pussy rock that tough dudes in California listen to, like Depeche Mode.
Yep.
Like, you will find jughead idiots going, like, fucking Mode, man, they're awesome.
The fucking.
And it's crazy to me because that was always faggy pussy music.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, So
I don't think anyone's
Can
gonna.
I swear like that on this?
I think faggy
Yeah,
pussies
okay.
are the best kind of pussies, though.
Yeah.
What kind of pussy are you?
Does this pussy make my pussy look fat? Yeah, I like the idea of Latino Tears for Fears fans.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe we can start that as a movement?
I wouldn't be. I bet you there's a lot of them anyway.
Is there a reason behind the Latina
Morrissey, that's the other thing. See, I'm not
I'll tell you what.
in this.
It's two things. I think I read an article about it. There's an aesthetic quality. They kind of like that
hair.
sort of that mod 50s look.
how he looks.
Yeah, and then also, I think the other they interviewed a lot of Latinos about it, and part of it is he came from like a working class English town, and so they relate to his music. They relate to what he's saying in his music, and so I
But
think
that he also speaks to a florid, dramatic streak that runs strongly through the Hispanic community. Like a total, like, sleeping, like, fainting couch. Even the toughest of the tough will,
yeah.
There's like a Latin sort of romanticism that I think he really embraces.
Every Latino has a little Morrissey inside. Just wait.
It's like Italians who, I mean, these are all, of course, cultural stereotypes, which, I mean, you can, they're like, so it's easy.
honest.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up in court, but in
come from an
conversation,
area
it's
of truth.
fine. But,
Yeah.
but like Italians are fiery and fighting and all this stuff, but also think about, like, the opera, like maudlin self, just luxuriating in your own suffering. Yeah.
Because there's that tough exterior, and then that like poor
Well,
me. Yes, exactly.
Do you think that's like just like the Catholic guilt then? If it's like Italian and it's Latino, do you think it's just?
I don't know. I don't go any further than just noticing it.
You can delve into it pretty well.
I just say,
prolifically.
look at that. No, I mean, I don't know if I mean, I'm not Catholic, so that I don't. My wife is, and so I kind of have it. Awareness of how Catholicism touches things, but it's not anything that occurs to me. I only get it.
Catholicism touches things in many ways.
I only
Not
get
according
it
to the Pope.
sort of intellectually. I don't know. I don't know what it means to be Catholic, and I've been there. And when you go and you see, like, obviously I don't speak Italian, but go there and watch TV, and like there'll be a Vatican show. It's obviously a Vatican show. It's from the Vatican. And on that same channel, 2 hours later, there's topless women, doing chat shows. You're sort of like, oh, there's a contradiction going on in this country.
I just think that culturally,
There's a lot going on at once.
culturally, as humans, we can have a crusty exterior and a sweet pussy center.
Right,
I think
right.
that's really, except for the Germans.
I was going to say molten chocolate. Lava cakes.
It's much nicer.
Brown
than
and hard on the outside.
sweet pussy center. I wish they would
Brown and
advertise Three Musketeers that way. Chocolatey on the outside, sweet pussy center. Three Musketeers. What does that have to do with a musketeer?
Pussy.
That's the tagline.
Yeah.
No, not literally pussy.
Just, vulnerable.
Boy,
Like a pussy.
I'll tell you what, I sure love me some figurative pussy. I don't know about you guys. So what are you on a break right now? Now that
Well, I mean, I'm unemployed. If that's what you mean.
temporarily.
No, I'm actually not even technically unemployed. It just feels like it because I'm under contract with NBC until the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
So the show. I mean, I was an employee of NBC working on a show, and that show went off the air, so I'm still under contract to it.
Oh, okay.
It's not like I did anything.
Right.
Well, maybe if you had, be on still.
Well, no, I just mean like from a contractual standpoint. So they have to pay me until the end of May, and then we're working on this tour, but I'm pursuing other things. I kind of was like, there were a few weeks where I was like, I'd only had 10 months. It was 7 on the air, and then like 3 prior to the show going on the air. I'd only had about 10 months to get used to having a supposedly, unimpeachable job.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And as any performer, as anyone who works in this business knows, you are kind of your will is ground into a nub to the point where you never feel secure.
You never trust anything.
And so you're always waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and go, all right, time's up.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so you can go, of course.
But particularly in your case, it was like, holy shit, if they're not safe, nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Like it really was kind of a dramatic wake-up call to everyone who has any kind of job that you just can never feel 100% safe.
Unless any bitches out there start saying, oh, well, boo-hoo, like, too bad you didn't get your job that you couldn't lose. Like, I am speaking from a place of realizing I'm tremendously lucky.
Right.
That's the baseline.
Right.
I've been really successful. I make a living at this. I have a nice life. I have a happy family. But it's still my life, and I still got to worry about paying for those kids. And,
right.
You bought your kids?
No, but you have
Kids
to pay
are expensive.
for them. You get them for free, and it's like a dope habit. You get it for free, and then you
just got to get more.
Pay.
Yep. Then you got to buy
So the
the
wife's the pusher.
But I mean, granted, this is not real world problems or anything, but it certainly was. It's if you work in show business, it's more like a career or a business, an industry interest, because it's an interesting thing that happened within an industry that's incredibly insecure and incredibly just, it incredibly fucks you over is what I was going to say.
Well, I don't think, I think anyone can understand. I mean, from the basic standpoint of, as part of human nature, you want to work and you want to contribute and you want to stay employed. It doesn't matter how glamorous your job might appear to other people.
Right.
It's still, as a human being, you got fucked over.
Yeah,
and so it's not,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to be like, that asshole, tell him to put on his Morrissey albums and shut the fuck up.
Oh, no, there's a lot of people that say shit like that.
No, I know.
There's a lot of people. Like, I made the mistake of, well, and it's not even a mistake, because it's ultimately kind of, at one point when something happened, I, looked at news items about, maybe it was when the tour came out or something, and then I scrolled all the way down to see the comments. on this thing.
Don't.
There's just so many people, and it's crazy too. It makes me end up thinking like, there's got to be, because there's like a couple of sites that are just kind of, like gossipy, show busy sites that are obviously a for-profit enterprise that would, there would just be so much different than the other ones in terms of their opinion. Like, there's just like, one would be like so full of people that were pro-Leno.
Right.
And then there'd be another one that would be so full of people, it was just all people that loved us.
Wait, Leno people knew how to use the computer?
I'm more inclined to believe that there's I'm less inclined to be suspicious of the pro-Conan web group, because that just makes more sense to me. Because
younger.
Why are there people, like seemingly a number of pro-Leno people prowling the chat boards on a gossip site?
This group, Moms on Facebook, really...
I'm glad
what makes
Leno's
me
back.
think is, I wonder if that website is owned by NBC.
It's possible.
And they just hire guys that work around the office to be like, my name is, Deborah K67.
Right.
And I love Jay Leno.
They would make it more realistic if they just put like a link to a cute cat video right after. It's like, I love Leno. Check out my nephew's
Or there's
cat.
like a kitten avatar, like somebody really being angry
Now, is
about
that like
the
a-
Conan J situation with a kitten avatar.
Is that like their avatar is a picture of a kitten, or a kitten from Avatar, like a blue cat? I just want to get.
I don't know if they're not...
the animated series or the film?
Oh, he's talking about the last Airbender versus James Cameron's Avatar.
For those of you at home,
Yes,
following.
It's
along.
a nerdy podcast. Those people
Yeah.
would have known.
The last Airbender.
Yeah.
They had a giant cat with flapped with his ears. The Na'vi of James Cameron's Avatar didn't have cats. There was no cats at Home Tree.
And a zebra buffalo.
Giant pterodactyls.
Well, it is like the whole thing is. It was amazing how it overtook just like pop culture in general for a period of time, and how polarizing it was.
Avatar or the Conan O'Brien thing?
All of it.
No, it was huge. It was all that was online.
It was crazy. I couldn't. I don't even think I still fully got my head around.
Did you guys?
know?
You must have just had moments, because I mean, Jimmy Pardo was doing warm up on the show. I had a ton of friends who worked on that show, and there must have just been a collective moment where you guys were looking around like, is this fucking really happening? Is this really happening?
Yeah, I think probably. Well, a lot of the people there. I feel like I was in the minority because I had been used to. Like I have been used to like constructing a complete fantasy scenario based on the inevitable success of the show that I'm working on.
Right.
Like all the things we're gonna do and the places we're gonna go.
You
and the
cut to
shit
those
we're gonna buy.
those Homer Simpson dreams where you're in a tuxedo on top of a gold house.
and then
Rocket car.
I've had a number of experiences with that, having to like, those fantasies being popped like a pin in a balloon, going, oh shit,
Right.
Oh my god, I gotta get another job.
Well-
and so for me, there was a couple days of holy shit, I can't believe it, and then sort of like, oh, all right, yeah.
Well,
makes sense.
There's and I'm not saying that I'm not on the same scale as what you guys went through, but I mean, I've been working a really long time, and I've had way more failed stuff. It's still like stuff that you think is going to be the thing that tips it, and then it's just like, oh, and then then it goes away.
Yeah.
But you're a testament to, no matter how shitty you get fucked over, you just fucking gotta get back up and learn a lesson from it, and you keep going. What are you gonna do?
This really, I do feel, and I got to remind myself of this. Like, this is a really fun industry to work in, and it is to just be at the point where I am making my living at it is pretty great, and puts me in a very luxurious minority.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to always know that it's
That would explain the cape that you wore and your top hat and cane.
It's really a fun job, and you got to keep going at it, because it's like, well, of course, I think like the yin is so good. If the yin is the good one, the yang is, there's going to be some shit.
Yeah.
Life balances itself out. So if you're going to get to do something this fun, you're going to make a lot of stomach acid.
Right.
That's just the price you're going to pay. You're going to have to deal with like pretty heavy disappointment at times, and that's just like, well, you know what? Because you get to fucking eat cake for a living. Like that's. When you get a job, it's so sweet. What do? You cock around and be an asshole and get paid,
Right.
know?
Right.
It's really fun.
That's true. It's not like getting laid off at the one steel mill in town.
Right.
Where you're like,
shit, where am I gonna go? And
well, not only is my career over, my life is over. Well, it's just nice that you guys were able to come away with it and still sort of feel like, all right, we can still, I mean, obviously. Personally, I think it could have been the best thing that happened, because wherever else you guys go, and I don't know, are you talking about where you guys are going?
Well, I mean, we're talking nothing more than it's what's in the paper. We're talking to Fox. It looks good.
I mean,
end of story.
Well,
number one,
Hugo on Fox will always be better than the other talk show they had, the Chevy Chase show.
Right.
It's like that.
I hope so. I think it's pretty safe to.
I think it's going to be great, because number one. Well, one of you walked away with a lot of money. I don't know what your deal was, but
no, I'm getting paid.
You get paid well.
Working, yeah.
Yeah, you get paid to not work.
Yeah, but there's a slight difference.
I'm sure there's a little bit of just a little bit of a difference.
A lot of people. That
Like
was
45. You probably got like 42.
That was also, of the entire thing, one of the things that was really truly irritating was and it wasn't just me. It was people like Jimmy Pardo, or for those of you that don't know, does the in studio warm up for us. Who's a hilarious.
Never Not Funny is his podcast, and you should listen to it. He's amazing.
Got a hilarious He's a hilarious, wonderful guy, and he was one of the people there that immediately upon it being details of the so-called settlement being leaked, where he was getting Facebook messages and emails from people from his past going like, "Well, enjoy your golden parachute," which is like,
By the way, I don't think a golden parachute would work well. I mean, gold is heavier than air.
It's always
You would instantly hit the ground.
Yeah, but
Right.
you look so good doing it.
That would be it would be a very shiny death.
But you would have a gold dome to preserve your remains.
Well, I tell you what, though, no one would forget that. Guy fucking rained down in a shower of gold.
Boom!
Hey, he's dead, but
noise that
gorgeous.
would make.
The most
Yeah.
glorious
Gorgeous.
mistake, man.
He died in a shower of gold.
That's pretty good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Lo siento.
No, but anyway, so there were a lot of people that just assumed we all made a gazillion dollars.
Well, I think ultimately, you're still getting money and you're going to go somewhere else. And what's great is I think it really helped corral your audience because there's such a tremendous outpouring of support, for the people who are pro Conan and pro you. And I think wherever you go next, they're going to be extra cool to you guys, and you're going to get to make whatever kind of show you want to make. And I think it's going to be really great.
I hope so.
I am excited about it. I'm
I hope
genuinely
so.
excited to see
all
what
that
happens.
stuff about they'll let you do whatever you want to do. I sort of feel like, we'll see. They'll say that, sure, but we'll see.
Andy, take your cock out of your pocket. Oh, really? I just wanted to fold it around just for the opening segment. No, you can't do whatever you want to do.
All right.
By the way, just in case anyone wants to know, Andy told me that his pin is cock. So if you ever steal his ATM
He
card,
walked up to me on the ATM in the lobby.
and I go, I don't want to look at your pin, and he goes, I'll just tell you what it is. It's cock.
Can't forget
I
that.
said, in anybody's account you try and hack, try that one first, because you will find it 80% of the people use cock as their pin
It'd
number.
be weird if there was some sort of bizarre Arthur C. Clarke thing that no one figured out, but that everyone has the word cock as their pin, and it's just it's like some sort of weird
That.
alien subconscious
Right.
mind control, and we just never.
Or some super genius who figures out this technology but doesn't have any idea how to use it. Just I'm going to make everybody use cock as their pin.
Really, you can get money. You
Oh
can.
shit! Now I'm dead. My secret will go with
The
me.
guy's like, no, it's just really funny. I just want everyone's pin to be cock.
Pretty good, huh?
I
guess.
ladies and people of Earth, you know how your pin is cock. You're welcome.
Now, excuse me, while I jump out of this plane with my golden parachute.
No! That was a good bit, guys. Let's there's some good yes ending there.
Let's put this thing on pause and rest for a while.
I brought pillows.
2 hours later, the high five stopped.
Yeah, what we need right now is to all high five in the middle and just have like a 38 special song play and credits roll and like that's the end of our movie. Take me back to paradise. Are you? Did you do a lot of live stuff? I mean, I see you at the UCB sometimes. You do. I've seen you do ASCAT before.
Yeah.
Are you doing a lot of live stuff?
Not right now. I mean, people ask me to come do shows and stuff, and I'll do that to a certain extent, and then sometimes I won't because I'll just stay home. No, well, it's I got 2 kids, and so I'll go do stuff for friends of mine and people that I know, and it's fun to get out. But I'm 43 years old. I no longer have the feeling of like, I gotta get out on a stage and make people laugh. I'm much more likely to be like, I gotta get to bed.
You're just
early.
pressing your eyebrows down. I'm gonna make them like me tonight.
I'm 27 and I have that feeling already. Honestly. I could go and do that basement show at the Ramada in Vermont, or I could just watch Lost again.
Or I could relax after a hard day at work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And,
Well, I got a kid that wakes up anywhere from 5:45 to 6:45.
What a piece of shit.
That is
She's an
bullshit.
asshole. She is an asshole.
How old is she?
4.
So she's still. Oh my god, the
It gets
hipster.
worse and worse with this one, huh?
Kids,
Yeah.
what a waste of sperm. Hipsters.
It's how hipsters are made.
Yeah. No, man. We
Oh,
take that
man, we
back.
were miraculously born at a Yola Tango concert. Came out of the amps.
I crawled out of a vintage T-shirt pile. Did you ever do stand up?
No.
Never did
I
stand-up?
did improv.
Yeah.
I was from the improv world in Chicago. I never was comfortable that much with being on stage alone.
It's so funny
didn't
so funny how divided people can get on the improv or sketch versus stand-up thing, where some people just love to be in the moment, and then other people have to be characters. They can't go on stage and be themselves. And me, I'm a bad character on stage. I always will just pull off the wig and be like, all right, you know it's me. Here's what this bit's about. Like, I just can't. I'm the worst.
What I'm gonna do here is put this wig crooked. See?
It was two things: not wanting to be, which I was talking to Brian Stack, who's a writer on a Conan writer who came up with me in improv in Chicago, and he said the same thing. He's like, I have no interest in being on stage by myself. It's just like, it never appealed to me. And I also, coming up, and it's probably early imprinted prejudice based on being on training in improv, the notion of like saying the same stuff over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, I was like, why the fuck would you want to do that?
You know, it's interesting. I think most stand-ups, when they start, kind of have that idea in their head where they're like, my set's going to be different every time I go up.
Yeah.
And then you realize, A, you fucking run out of material. And B, there is a craft to like whittling stuff down into its most essential parts and then tagging it off and making
it seem fresh every time.
Yeah. By the way, tagging it off is a great phrase for something. I don't know what it's going to be, but I like the phrase tagging it off.
It sounds very masturbatory.
It is a little masturbatory.
Are you tagging one off in there?
Stand-up is.
Tagging one off?
Stand-up is very masturbatory.
But it almost sounds feminine. She's tagging one off in there. Because it just sounds like a slap a little bit. like playing the washboard.
Sure. Yeah.
Playing the washboard.
A friend of mine in New York, who actually, he's from Canada, and he has a brother who's a stand-up comedian, so he's familiar with them. We were having lunch, my wife and he and I were having lunch, and a guy that we know who's a stand-up comedian came up and said hello and stood talking to us. And it was a fairly benign conversation, but he walked away, and my friend David said, is he a stand-up comedian?
Oh, that's the worst.
And we said, yeah, why? And he said, oh, it was just that he's sort of dripping with hostility.
Wow.
That's really perceptive. Because I was used to the other guy. I was like, it didn't seem that unusual to me. He's like, yeah, he seems really hostile.
That's actually not. I thought you were going a different direction with that, which is the what?
He was going to bit a bunch.
You're doing bits.
Yeah.
Where you can tell if a comic is trying to steer something in the direction of a bit that they want to try out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys. It's great that you saw Avatar. Hey, have you had salads lately? What's going on with salad?
I have salad.
There's nothing worse.
Oh, that's terrible.
There's nothing worse than being a comic and then saying something and having someone go, wait, are you doing a bit right now?
Yeah.
Like, you feel so exposed.
It makes you feel like you're not allowed to be funny in conversation anymore.
Jonah and I in New York, Jonah would have to keep saying, by the way, this is not a bit. I'm just
Disclaimer.
It's like I want to just hang out and have fun conversations with my friends like I have my entire life before I ever did comedy.
Right.
And then I remember even the friends I had at the time when I was living in San Pedro, I had friends, and then I started doing stand-up, and then I would just hang out the exact same way I always did, but then they would have to stop me. I was like, is this material? Are you trying to do bits? I was like, I'm the same way. It's really infuriating. Which reminds me, have you guys...
That's Jonah's stage voice.
I've never been to San Pedro. Man, is it crazy.
Yeah, that means St. Peter in English. What's up with that?
Yeah. That Leo Carrillo Aquarium. Is that what it is?
Cabrillo.
Oh, Cabrillo.
Yeah,
whatever. Cabrito.
I remember before the UCB opened up in Los Angeles, there was a huge separation between improv and stand-up and sketch people. They didn't really even hang out that much.
UCB reunited the crystal.
When UCB opened up here, it was almost
Between
like
the
the epicenter
Skeksis
where
and
everyone started hanging out.
Yeah.
And there was that appreciation.
Well, but that's also it's kind of the way the UCB people are. I think they also sort of bridge that gap. Because when I was talking to Stack about this the other day about stand up in Chicago, because it used to be in Chicago, it was a very separate crowd, and I only knew a couple people that overlapped. One of them was Brian McCann, and one of them was Matt Besser, and Matt Besser is one of the founders of UCB. Yeah. So I don't think Amy ever did stand up, but I think Ian Roberts did, and Matt Walsh has. So they kind of, to them it was all one thing.
It was just
you know?
comedy.
Yeah,
That's what I like about like
Yeah.
UCB and comedy like right now, where it's just all about comedy. It's just about
Yeah.
making funny things as
Yeah.
opposed to this is my thing or this is.
I don't think of Chicago as a stand-up culture. When I think of Chicago, I think sketch and improv culture.
Yeah.
But a lot of good stand-ups are coming out from Chicago right now, like Bronger and Kyle Kinane and so.
Oh man, they're so fucking funny. But both their albums are amazing.
Yeah.
Kyle Kinane and Matt Bronger, you guys should check out if you haven't already. I assume they're just at Kyle Kinane, and then is Bronger just Bronger? Or
I think it's just Bronger.
Bronger,
Yeah.
Bronger.
And Dion Cole, who works on our show, or who worked on our show, is from Chicago and is very funny too.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know those other guys because they don't work on the same TV show I work on.
I don't really believe that anything exists outside my show.
Yeah.
So
Well, I just,
there might be other stuff.
No, it's just that I don't like to actually have to work to get to know things. I like them to just come present themselves to me.
I like him to just make a nest in my brain, and
Pretty much
that's how I get information.
That's why I'm all about Miley Cyrus right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Party of the
really,
USA
I
is a
didn't
good
have
song.
to do any work. I just.
You know what I'm realizing recently is that there's, I feel like, and maybe there was a lot of bad art in our culture when I was younger, but I just didn't realize it because I was
It's
young
always
and I
with
didn't
us.
know any better. but I feel like there's this kind of overall vibe of convenience and laziness, like extra in America, and it doesn't just it like you see it cross all sectors, like fast food, like Walmart, everything being in one place, and then with the art that people consume, like a Lady Gaga song to me is the laziest. Like as a listener, you don't have to think about it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's just that good.
it's
Right? That's what you're
whoa,
saying?
Whoa, I'm sorry. Did you?
Wait, did I misconstrue everything you were about to say?
Is this where you say that you break the news in the podcast that you're a Lady Gaga fan?
No, I'm just saying that sometimes it can be catchy.
Because I could use something to get off of the Dave Matthews thing.
No. What made me realize that the Poker Face song is catchy is when Cartman from South Park sang it. And first I was like, it's not that bad. I had to have Cartman sing it, but I was like, it is.
I like Lady Gaga.
It's catchy
I think-
like ball herpes is catchy. Like it's catchy in that way. Where you're like, fuck, it's in my head. Here's the thing about Lady Gaga. I can't stand her music, but she as a character, I am fascinated by, and I think it's a stroke of genius. I think
Yeah.
her presentation. I think it's nice to see performers having these big characters that people can get. But the music is, to me, it just makes me angry.
Well, it's not for you.
What's helpful? Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Why
What's
isn't everything
helpful-
for me? I want the entire industry to bend to my likes.
I got a 9-year-old kid who really likes Lady Gaga, and not because she's weird, because he listens to music. He's starting to listen to music, and he's starting to choose music.
It's got to be kind of fun and scary at the same time, right?
No, what the fuck do I care? You know, I mean, he can have his taste in whatever he wants. It's like, I don't.
So
there's-
you're a good dad. Sorry.
I don't.
As long as he's on the soccer field at 6 a.m.
I mean, he listens largely and has his whole life to the music that my wife and I choose. But now that he wants to, when we get in the car and I'm driving him to school, if he wants to listen to Hits 1 on Sirius, he can listen to the Hits 1 station. And for me, it's interesting because it's just, I haven't listened to Top 40 radio in 30 years or whatever it is. And
Who's the hipster now?
And it's,
Who's the hipster now?
But
I
it's
shut
just
off at
interesting.
age 25, and I don't like anything new.
But it's also infuriating too. It's like how stupid things are and how bad they are, and like some of the songs that are just so sexist. And I'm not even, I think sexism has its place.
Sure.
But,
Like in the workplace.
yeah, like in the workplace or in personal relationships. And I mean male and female sexism.
I can't believe that you can get fired for demanding that your assistant blow you. That is beyond me.
I'd do it for her, Your Honor.
Has Sterling Cooper taught us nothing?
But like Lady Gaga, I think I really appreciate her. Number one, the songs aren't, of the other shit that's on the pop radio, it's genius in comparison. and she just, she's become really popular. She can sing, she can play piano, which are like quantifiable talents that almost everyone else in music lacks.
Isn't that funny that
and
we're-
she's
that-
just going to be a fucking weirdo.
Isn't it funny that we're at a point where all a pop star has to do is show because of Britney Spears to show a modicum of talent.
Yeah.
You're like, and I think she writes some of her own songs.
Well, she writes songs and she can sit and play the piano and improvise on the piano. And,
All right, I think I might be.
sing
I think I might be
ranges,
shifting my opinion on Gaga Gate.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
she can,
but
she
also,
can
just look at those costumes that she wears.
Yeah.
It's fantastic that somebody's that weird.
Yeah.
It's going to be let herself basically be the plaything of the weirdest, gayest men on earth. Dress me up, fellas. Okay.
It's kind of Blondie. It's a little Blondie.
Yeah.
Like the weird, the hot girl who's not afraid to be weird.
Yeah.
Is she hot? I actually
She's
don't even know what
weirder
Lady
than Blondie.
Gaga
Oh,
looks
she
like.
looks like-
She looks.
She looks like Marilyn Manson, right?
No, she
Whoa.
looks.
No, I don't know.
She's like Italian.
You mean Marilyn
Jewy
Manson with those
looking. It's
weird,
fantastic.
bizarre man tits that he had on? That kind of
During the dope show
androgynous.
era? Yeah, I don't know. I saw one thing where they
just a genitalless space that he had down there.
I saw a side-by-side picture, and she was dressed up exactly like Marilyn Manson for something. I can't remember.
Well, she just looks. She
kinda
looks
fun.
Italian.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, she's Italian, but she's, I think
I think
don't
she's
wanna be-
attractive.
she's
Gaga
pretty.
goo.
She's pretty, but she's also she's very Italian looking. You know, she's got like a big nose.
Those big. I'm half Italian, so I can say that Italians have large noses.
Yeah.
It's all right. I have a side of the family that is well endowed in the nose department, and that if you could fuck people with your nose, that would be a bragging right. But as it turns, really,
You can, yeah.
Really?
Here, turn off the machine. I'll show you. All right.
The machine.
Get the crank! Hit the levers when I say three!
I wish.
All right, we're back. I've been nose fucked by Andy Richter, which is the title of my biography.
It looked weird.
I couldn't tell which fluid.
I can't imagine. Wait,
Not a bad weird.
so you got it?
More tears than I expected.
Well, yeah, it burns your eyes when you get up the
Yeah,
sex
yeah.
juice in your eyes.
And also, I did it good.
Yeah,
I did it good.
Give me some of that sex juice.
yeah. The cut to the moment of you like going in and out with your nose, and is there? You would kind of go, wait, how did I get here? I don't know if
There's never that moment.
being mid nose fuck. No.
No. You don't have time.
It's all hot.
People get into weird. I wonder
It's
how.
just like just smacking up against your face, and your nose is about to break.
How do fetishes start though? I've always wondered what makes you get to a certain point to where that's like something you want to try.
People are obviously not that good at jerking off.
Yep.
And I must be a freaking genius because I
You don't need to get nose fucked.
Yeah. I don't need a hairbrush in my ass. I'm fine.
How'd you break your nose? Nose fucking incident. Another one? Oh boy. Here we
Reminds me of
go
the time
again.
I had mine. Oh, you too? Oh, let's start a club website.
By the way, my pin number's
can't
cock. What's
rebuild
yours? Oh, I just did one of my pet peeves. You don't say pin number. Oh, it makes me so mad.
I can't remember the last time.
Because
I used my
number
dick.
is part of the acronym.
Right.
It's like saying
Personal identification number. ATM machine.
What's wrong with that?
it's irritating. It's redundant. It is a
WTF,
cultural
fuck.
redundancy.
Do you ever say RSVP, please?
No, well, you could say that because you would say s'il vous plaît, so you could say please just to drop the English on a motherfucker. Just let him know.
the English
just let him know
on a motherfucker.
you're gonna come to the shit out of his party,
Just so you know, we're clear. This is in America.
out of his
party's in America.
motherfucking black tie function. Out of his weird Kubrickian Eyes Wide Shut sex club where people are nose fucking each other. They did nose fuck each other, I think.
Masks.
Yeah.
Did they?
I think so.
Oh, awesome.
Or am I just thinking of Clockwork Orange? Boy, Kubrick loved nose fucking. I think we uncovered something interesting today.
Let's watch Kubrick's classic.
So from now on, if you give someone the Kubrick or your
I think-
Kubricking means to nose fuck
I think
someone.
Hal nose fucked Dave.
You think that's what
Yeah,
happened?
it probably happened.
What are you doing, Dave? This is highly irregular. There was no
Yes.
dialogue in the
You
movie.
know there was nose fucking.
All work and no
Spartacus.
nose fucking makes Jack a dull boy.
No.
A classic line from a movie.
Yeah, that's what it was, right? I haven't seen it in forever. I just remember, the guy from Wings was in the TV remake.
Steven Weber.
Yes.
I saw him on.
He changed his
Late
name to
Night.
the guy from Wings.
I
just
went
so
to
you know.
Late Night the night he was promoting that movie when I was in New York.
Oh, really?
That's when Steven Weber was on Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
You remember that?
Have you ever seen Late Night with Conan O'Brien?
I think I would have been on the show then.
Yeah?
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Good times.
But Matt bought some when I did
I
the
do.
Jimmy Fallon show a couple weeks ago. I hope this doesn't make you feel bad, but when we were in the NBC building, Matt's like, "Do you have any Conan O'Brien stuff left?" And the guy's like, "It's on the clearance table."
Yeah,
so
then as-
he bought Conan
He
stuff.
like brought me and Jonah like we were going to a speakeasy.
Yeah, he's like,
"Come on."
oh, right this way.
Wait, was it Tonight Show with Conan stuff?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And it's smart to buy it up.
Yeah, that's
you
what we
know?
got. I got a shirt. I got some magnets. But the weirdest part was
If I had known it, I would have, because there was a whole box of hoodies. I would have just loaded up my car with hoodies, you know?
Yeah, if you ever work on a show, you got to save that stuff. Like that's like those early Warner Brothers guys, like Chuck Jones, just sending out cells to people for
Yeah,
Christmas
there you
cards,
go.
and then and then they're worth shitloads of
The
money.
weird-
What were you going to say? I
Oh,
interrupted you.
I think it was just the weirdest part about the kid that was taking us to the stuff was like, what are you doing in town? We're like, what do you do in LA? It's like, I write on a show. He's like, oh yeah, I'm an actor, writer, poet.
No.
And then I said, oh, you forgot to mention NBC Experience Store worker. And then he told me he was in the movie Elephant. He was the photographer in the movie Elephant. So
Not to mention,
yeah.
here's a poem for you.
Well,
My
I bet
life
he
is
felt
sad.
it was self-evident. You know? I mean, he didn't need to say that. He didn't need to say, that he was male either.
I'm an actor, poet, photographer. Do you want some more Blurg magnets from 30 Rock?
Spelled with a U.
Who knew?
Pardon me for coughing.
Okay.
I'll snip that part out.
You will.
And then you'll be referring to it, and I'll be referring to it.
Remember when you coughed earlier? Don't give ixnay. You see any movies lately you like? I never see any movies.
Wait, quiet.
What's going on?
Can you keep it down
Be
with your real
really
work?
quiet. I'll turn this up if they can hear it. Hang on.
You think they can hear the? Oh my god, we could totally be listening to an executive meeting at the E Studios right now.
And that's why I think Web Soup should go on for never.
Oh my god, that's not where I thought that was going. That took a hard left turn at the end.
I got to run to Comedy Central.
I think the only way to fix our problems is a culling.
Here's a fun Andy Richter story. We were in San Francisco doing Match Game that Jimmy Pardo hosted. It was a revamp of the 70s. Well, it wasn't called Match
What does
Game.
he call it
was
now?
called Game Show Explosion.
That's
I
right.
think.
Yeah.
But it was essentially matching answers with the word blank. And I was sitting in front of Andy Richter in a minivan, and he would grab a hold of the chair recliner thing and keep doing this on my seat. So I was going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And so after like 10 minutes, it was so funny. You were so resigned. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm an infant. I loved that experience. I'll sit in front of you any day, and you can recline my seat as much as you feel like.
Would you ever think about doing it more? Because I really liked Andy Barker, PI,
Oh, thank
and
you.
also Andy Richter Controls the Universe was one of my favorite shows when it was out.
about quintuplets? Never mind.
It's a guy who's never satisfied. Well, you didn't mention
Was
this.
that was that before
you
you
didn't
played
mention-
quintuplets on Arrested Development, or was that?
Yeah, there was a direct joke being done by the guys at Arrested Development.
All right.
But at that point, I think they already knew they weren't coming back, so they were just writing whatever shit they came to mind at
My
10
favorite
p.m.
was the stunt double brother.
Yeah.
You're in total control.
What was the experience? What was it? How did they shoot Arrested Development? Was it was there a lot of improv, or was it?
No, there wasn't a lot of improv. I mean, I think there's never. I don't know. I've never been on something where it's totally improvised, just people going crazy. And
Not
I
even
worked on.
Talladega Nights.
I mean, yeah, but it's always within a little. It's not like you just go. You guys are in here. You just found out your mother's dead. Go. It's never like that.
Make it
There'll
funny.
be sort
Feed it
of-
out, right?
Yeah, there'll be like a hole. Like there's and it ended up getting cut from the movie, but there was in the movie Semi-Pro, I had to react to. There's a scene where I think Will Ferrell is firing me because he wants to sell my desk. He says, "Clean out your desk," because he's trying to make money, so he's going to sell my desk. And I had to react hurt and angry at being fired. So I just did a different thing each time. So, different things like, I cannot go back to the Coast Guard. Just stuff like that. But it was that was where, but I got to go back out in the, because I made an entrance into the locker room. So I got to go back in the hallway and sit there and think of another one and then do another one. And I was trying to, like break people up. That's always a little bit fun. But that's the most I ever see of improvising. I've never been on a Robin Williams movie. Like there'll be a hole.
Chair.
Yeah.
Bottle of
There'll
water.
be like a hole that you can fill, and then that's sort of it. And Arrested Development, it was all written out. I mean, all the sort of, because especially with the voiceover having to tie it all together, it all moves really fast.
Yeah, that's true because the storylines were so intricate. The way that everything had to come back around. That you can't really improvise.
And the jokes were so solid.
I mean, just unfucking believable. That show, I miss that show.
Yeah, it was good. There was one of the scenes that I had, one of the brothers that I had to play is sort of, I think it was supposed to be the real me, like the real me, who was written as like an angry, bitter loser. And I go to see my brother, me, who's a very, very soft-spoken, very supportive guy, at Michael Cera's school. I don't remember his character's name.
George Michael.
At George Michael's school. And,
Promises.
And I go, and George, I think Jason Bateman's talking to my teacher character, and the real me comes up, and I want to talk to my brother, and Jason Bateman asks me if I'll come to some fundraiser. And I go, all right, well, tell my brother I'll be in the cafeteria waiting for him. And when he says, like, and I say, like, is there a free dinner involved? And he says, yeah. And I said, all right, I'll do it. Tell my brother I'll be waiting in the cafeteria. And somebody running the product, like the writer that ran the shoot, the producer, I didn't know him, but he kept telling the director to sell the jokes of like, oh, is there a meal involved? Oh, all right, I'll be there. And I'll be waiting tell my brother I'll be waiting in the cafeteria. He wanted me to sell those jokes as I'm so fat.
Right.
That food is like crack to me, like it would be to a crackhead.
Which must feel really good, right?
The director came up to me and tried to explain it to me a couple of times. And it took a couple times for me to realize what he was getting at. And I was like, okay, all right, fine. And I did a trick that I learned working on a terrible movie with Terrence Stamp, in which he was given directions that he didn't agree with, and he went like, "Oh yes, I see," and then did exactly what he wanted.
Yes,
again.
General
And then
Zod.
they come back and they come and say, "Oh, I don't know if you're understanding. You should do it this way." He goes, "Oh right, yes." And then they go again, and he'd do exactly what he wanted until the director just went, "All right, fine, let's move on." And so I decided, I'll do whatever I'm told, except if it's to like do the fatty loves to eat joke.
Right.
And I was like, and he came, and I did it again, and he came out, and he's like really explicit, and I said, I'm not going to do that. I said, no. And he laughed. He's like, no one's ever just said no before to me. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sell the joke that way. And then the producer guy came over, and he starts telling me how he wants to do it. And I said, oh, you mean like I'm so fucking fat that that I just love to eat, and that any opportunity to shove food in my fat fucking face is what really, and Bateman's standing there loving it. And I'm like, oh, you mean any chance to shove food in my fat fucking face? That's what I'm doing here? Like I'm a desperate fucking animal who just needs food in his fat face? Yeah, like that. yeah, okay, sure, no problem. Go sit down, you'll see.
Yeah, like that.
That's good because I always took it as you just wanted a free meal. Like,
Yeah.
just took your show.
Exactly, and that's what I was playing, and that was what I felt was. It's
That's
not like
funny.
I was
That's
just
a
being
funnier
a
joke,
baby.
yeah.
It's a funnier joke that my career has declined to
Yeah.
the point where it's like, oh, a meal, all right, sure,
Yeah.
why not? I'll be there.
Exactly.
But no, they wanted. Tell my brother I'll be in the cafeteria.
Sweating. Put more fat sweat on his brow.
Cream pies.
He needs to look fatter.
Yeah.
Did I tell the Dan Schneider story on this podcast yet? My buddy Dan Schneider, who was on Head of the Class. And we worked together.
Does he have something to do with iCarly?
Yeah, he created the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
Dan has created like pretty much every live action hit show for Nickelodeon.
yeah,
like
Nickelodeon,
All That,
yeah,
The
yeah.
Amanda Bynes Show. I think he might have done Drake and Josh. I know this because I did a cartoon Nickelodeon, not because I watched creepily watch kids programs.
I do.
Someday you're gonna be old enough, iCarly. Someday.
Not that long.
Really, just a couple of years.
Yeah, stick around, whatever.
Yeah, you know, Your Honor, she's 16 now, but think of it as me borrowing against the mortgage.
And Your Honor, Your Honor, you know she is cruising headlong into mental illness.
Come on.
And who is more sexually available
I'm just
than the
trying to-
mentally ill?
I'm just trying to coast that bird in for a landing. You can call me the Sully Sullenberg, a young pussy.
He's using the "come on, dude" defense, and it's really working.
The come on, dude defense. Well, Dan is a crazy smart, funny guy, and he's,
Yeah.
you know, super snarky and really
He
funny.
was on Saved by the Bell. Who was he on?
No, he was on Head of the Class.
Or Head of the Class.
Yeah.
And who was he on that?
Played the big guy.
right,
Anyway, Dennis was the character,
yeah.
and so I just have a weird memory for.
He's the guy
for
that
older
sat in the
shows.
back with a computer.
And he was
only
like the
computer.
snarky, he was like the funny guy in the room. So he gets cast in this show, and he's like, finally, I get cast to be funny and not the fat guy. Because up to that point, he played a bunch of fat guys.
Yeah.
So he's super psyched. He's thrilled about the job. The show initially was much different than what it ended up becoming.
Yeah.
And first day he shows up, he has a wardrobe fitting, and they hand him cargo pants, and the wardrobe says very earnestly, the wardrobe woman goes, "So your pants have a lot of pockets in them, you know, for snacks and things." And he was just, like, it just instantly took the wind out of his sails. He was like, oh my God, again?
Snacks and things.
For snacks and things.
Do you think it was just a benign comment on her part, or do you think it was because he then
It was
found
written into the script.
that it was an entire there was an entire institutional directive?
I
Make
think,
sure he eats.
I think it was just sort of that kind of bummer moment of like, oh.
Yeah.
So you see me as the fat guy. But
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Billy Connolly years of Head of the Class?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Who cares?
Give him a call.
Seriously, I could go to my grave not knowing
Those were
that.
dark years. All right, Andy, we're going to find out about this whole Billy Connolly. I like Billy. I worked with him once, and he's a super, super great guy. Apparently, there's these stories where Billy Connolly and Kevin Nealon and Steve Martin sit around and play the banjo with each other.
Wow.
Just one banjo.
One giant banjo.
One did the chords, and one did the bottom four strings, and the other guy did the top fifth.
That's
string.
how hard a banjo is to
Yeah,
play. You
exactly.
need 3 world-class comedians. To play
Stevie Ray and Jimmy Vaughan used to do that in concert.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. they
What,
used
double up on the one guitar?
Yeah, the Fabulous Thunderbirds would open for Stevie Ray Vaughan, and they would switch back very quickly.
Because they're
from-
tough enough. That's a song they wrote. When you're improvising, this is my when you're improvising, or you know, if you're like you said in semi-pro, you got to go in with a different choice every time just to fuck around.
Right.
What do you do when you're? And then I think this is a question a lot of performers would love. What do you do when your brain hits that wall, where you just fucking hit the wall, where you're like, there's nothing else comedy that's gonna come out of this brain right now. I'm tired. I'm out of choices.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, because I know the UCB, like that kind of Chicago improv directive is like, don't think, just say whatever, you know.
That's more the UCB one. The Chicago Improv Olympic would be more like think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because Del Close was super. I mean, the sort of Del Close's, I think, ideal of improv is lots of referential stuff about very arcane topics.
Did you work with Del?
Yeah, I was in some classes that he taught, and that part of it was good in the '60s and the early '70s, but I don't think it relates so much now. Like people don't like the fact that you know enough to reference Canterbury Tales or a very specific detail from Canterbury Tales, or you know the latest Lancet medical journal. You know, those things people don't give a shit.
I blame
anymore, but they used to care
the
a lot.
internet. Yeah, because in the 60s and 70s, you actually had to go to a library and look stuff up.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, great, you know Canterbury Tales. I have the internet too.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But they say like Wikipedia is Hollywood's ghostwriter.
I have a weird back and forth. But someone made a Wikipedia page for me. I would claim it if it were me. I would be honest, but I did not make it. And I have this, I just gave up, but I have this weird, fun back and forth game with someone on my Wikipedia page where they keep planting a fake brother named Peter. And they keep assigning him different roles. Like, and at one time he played football for like the Chicago Bears or something, and then so I kind of went and I'm like, yeah, I better take this off. And then they replaced it with.
It sounds like a friend of yours.
It sounds like someone, someone fucking with me. And he has a different job every time. This fake brother Peter. And I've started being asked in interviews like, so I understand you have a brother Peter who also does stand up. I'm like, no, that's Wikipedia.
The only reason
what's it like to
it's-
be the brother of a murderer?
Well, it's Wikipedia. It's Wikipedia. Hard Wikipedia, which is fake.
Oh.
Yeah. The only reason I have a Wikipedia page is because, like, as a prank, Dan Mintz created one for me, and to just like put my real last name and like put like all this information about Hawaii, and then just delved into how I committed suicide. And he didn't tell me about it. I came across it because someone sent it to me. He's like, "Hey, you're on Wikipedia." And I was like, "Oh
my God.
Do your parents know about it? They're not going to stumble across it, are they?
No, they don't know how to Google it.
Oh, well, there you go. Never
Yeah,
mind.
they'll wonder how they can get to it through.
I heard you killed yourself. Is this true?
You're talking to me right now.
I know. Are you dead?
No, my voice. I'm talking. This is real time.
I thought maybe this was some time vortex and your voice was trapped in some kind of electronic consciousness.
Oh, Mom, for the first time, I appreciate the words you say.
So I just want to have a James Lipton moment. Andy, if your Wikipedia overview could say anything, what would it say?
Wait, keep going. I'm still jerking off. If I could have an overview?
You don't have to answer that question seriously.
Oh, no, I would-
I was
it
just
would
trying to
be,
be a serious journalist for a second.
Caucasian male.
With a voice.
Into water sports. No, something like that.
You mean like water polo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Golden water polo.
Yeah.
Well, I don't-
Water
what's the
skiing.
goal? I don't understand.
Water skiing on piss.
Could you make that clear?
That's what I do with my millions.
That's the golden parachute.
That's what I do with my millions. Make a water skiing lake filled with piss.
Why wouldn't you? You know what's funny is that there would be people who would make that happen. You'd have an agent who'd be like, "Yeah, he wants to fucking he wants to water ski on piss. What's the problem? Make it happen."
I don't understand it. It's not for me to understand. It's for me to make it happen.
When you started working and making money, what's the most extravagantly weird thing you blew a lot of money on that you just had to have? Was there anything?
The thing that comes to mind is a shearling coat that I got from Gucci. Which, number one, the fact that Gucci had anything to fit me was amazing to me. I got it in Chicago. I found it in Chicago because there's fat people in Chicago. So Gucci has
Got
clothes
insulated
that'll
the hard
fit
winters.
fat people. But it's this shearling coat that like a shearling coat is normally the leather's on the outside, and then like where it's sewn, the little bits of shearling will pop out and it'll be around the edges. It's the opposite. So the leather's on the inside, so the outside of the coat, it looks like a coat made out of teddy bear fabric. And I think at the time it was like $3,000, which was just absurd.
Well, they've come down a lot now.
No, I mean it's still absurd, but it'd probably be like $12,000 now. And I still have it, and I used to wear it, but it's pretty fucking. It looks like a pimp coat, and and technically it's not really fur, so I hope I'll never get. I haven't worn it in years. Living in L.A., I carry my own coat with me.
Listen, if you would just want to consider when you guys start doing the show again,
Right?
wear the coat on every show. Make it your thing.
I'd have to be in a refrigerated chamber.
Chamber.
What's the problem with that?
Watch Andy sweat.
Have you guys talked about what the new show is going to be? Is it going to be?
Not at all. Honestly, not at all.
No.
I'm sure Conan's been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it, but it's like, it's not. When he and I get together, we don't talk about stuff like that, really. I mean, we've been talking about the live show, and that's pretty much consuming all our attention, is what the hell that's going to be. And then he and I don't talk about the next TV show other than to say, sort of him to go, well, it's going well with them. I don't know what's going to happen. And, it looks better. It looks more positive than negative.
You still got that coat?
Yeah.
I got a refrigerator gag.
I'm wearing it right now, Daddy.
How did you guys? How did you get involved with the show initially? Were you already friends, or did they?
No, I knew Robert Smigel, who I'd met through a mutual friend. Here, I was in L.A. doing a show called the Real Life Brady Bunch that we started
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Chicago.
yes. I saw the Real Life Brady Bunch of the Westwood Playhouse.
Yeah, and I was in that, and I played Mike Brady in that, and that was something we started in Chicago, some dopey show that we started there.
I did see that with you in it, and I just did not connect the pieces until
Yeah.
now because I think I might have been. It was early '90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in college at the time.
And it was. I was also there was a game show that preceded the Real Life Brady Bunch, and I was the announcer in the game show, and then played Mike Brady, and was out here that summer. Well, it would have been the summer of '92, I believe, and met Robert Smigel, like I said, through this mutual friend of mine who had worked on SNL, and just hung out and had fun and went out for drinks and stuff. And then a few months later, he called me and said, and we hadn't talked for a few months, and by that time, I had left the Brady Bunch and was out here working on the movie Cabin Boy. And he called me and said, I'm going to... And I'd heard about Letterman's replacement being this guy, Conan O'Brien, just on the news and stuff. And I remember I went to... Jeff Garland taped a pilot in the old Desilu studio, which is over on Las Palmas, I think, just below, like by the Del Taco at Highland, Santa Monica.
Oh, yeah. That's literally like Tranny Hooker Central.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where Desilu was.
Wait, tranny hooker?
Tranny.
Oh, no. All that money.
Gone.
I just let him nose fuck
How many
me.
times
Yeah.
have I?
You're
how many
gonna have
times
to
have I told
change
you
your Facebook
chicks
page.
don't wear cups?
They shit in them.
But douche. Jeff Garland did this pilot, and I sat in front of Bob Odenkirk and Carol Leifer as they talked all about this guy Conan taking over the job. And this was like 2 days after Conan was announced. So I found out, they know who Conan is, and I knew Bob really knew Conan. And then Robert said, you want to meet Conan? I'm going to be head writing on his show. And he was out here working on The Simpsons. He and I met at Junior's Deli and just hit it off. And I wrote some material and was the first writer hired on the late night show back in, this would have been, it was in 93, I think like March of 93.
93.
Yeah.
A young Eddie Vedder taught us grunge.
The hard way.
Fucking, man. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that,
so
that you
I mean,
guys
I
stuck
always
together.
say we figured out too that we were both at a party at Bob Odenkirk's house because I knew Bob because I'd been on an improv team with a woman that he was seeing at the time, and they lived together in an apartment.
Oh, you were in the Bob Odenkirk fuckers?
No,
That was a great improv team.
Kind of redundant.
But so I knew Bob through that connection, and I went to a party at Bob's house when I was here doing Cabin Boy, and Conan was there too, but I just didn't meet him at that party, and we figured that out a few years after knowing each other. So eventually, I'm sure we would have ended up knowing each other.
Yeah,
because we already knew so many people in common that things would have interceded.
What was but you were just hired as a writer. When was the decision made to have you just be?
It was always kind of floating around in there, I think. I mean, I've never asked specifically, Robert, how much did you think of me being the sidekick? And I've been asked the question, so I always think, I guess I should ask him so I know for sure, if they thought, at what point they thought, you'd make a good sidekick. Because it kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't thinking about it. But he and I played well together and would fuck around in the office a lot. And I just, we complimented each other kind of just naturally, comedically. And so we were kind of doing bits around the office anyway. And the first time that Conan did it, sort of like a practice thing, which was basically just turning, when they start a show like this, you probably experienced this, they just put you in front of the camera and you sit there and they change lights and,
that's the most grueling day.
Yeah.
I mean, for not that it's a hard day, but, but you will sit for 4 hours just in one place while they adjust lights.
And look at it, and people are in another room judging how you're looking.
Yeah. It's probably harder than building a railroad. It's probably a lot harder than building a railroad.
Much harder.
I mean, I'm not going out on a limb when I say that it's harder than chipping
and probably
rocks with
more dead Chinese too.
Way more have died in lighting schematics.
Mm-hmm. But
You got those shoes off a dead Chinese.
Back to the Future 3.
from the first time that he was out there, Robert said to me, he's got to sit out there for a while, go sit next to him. And then the next thing that he did, he like interviewed one of the PAs. And this was all not even on our stage. This was in 8H because our stage wasn't finished yet. This was up on Saturday Night Live on Bob Costas's later set.
Yes.
And then they had him do a cooking demonstration and stuff. But I always was hanging out there. You know, like I always was sitting next to him or hanging out nearby. And then as it came time to do the show, Robert came into my office and said, "Hey, do you want to be like the sidekick on the show?"
Holy shit.
And I'm such an asshole. I was like, because we had this notion that we were going to be like a hybrid of sketch and talk show.
Yeah.
And that we would have a recurring cast of characters and play like the Late Night with Conan O'Brien players.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know. Does that mean I can't do sketchy kind of stuff too? And I was like, well, let me think about it and talk to my wife about it. And then he left. Although I wasn't married at the time, but he left and I was like instantly like, who the fuck am I kidding? Like I'm gonna say no,
Right.
Like, no, like you're guaranteed to be on TV every night. Do you want that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know
might
I've
be
been-
able to be in sketches every now and
I
then.
know I've had a lifelong dream to be a performer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really.
And also, we quickly realized that the notion of doing a nightly sketch type show was a fucking pipe dream.
Yeah.
At first, we were like, forget topical humor, and then like, oh my god, I hope Michael Jackson does something bad.
Was it hard? Was it hard the
Please.
first year? Was the first year kind of hard?
Oh yeah.
Just figuring out.
A lot of work. We just jam-packed the show with comedy, which is amazing to me to just think about how much comedy we would do. There was comedy in almost every act, and a lot of like really produced comedy, like 5-minute animated bits that were like stop motion claymation animated bits. And
Did you get a
remotes
sense-
that we'd go shoot 2 days and come back and edit 12 hours for 7 or 8 minutes of screen. I mean, just crazy amount of work that no one is willing to do.
Did you get a sense for how it was going? Because this was sort of pre everyone has internet. So did you get a sense?
No, did not.
Kinda nice,
It
right?
was stressful. Yeah, it was kind of nice. There was stuff in the paper, but it was also crazy.
Weren't they just like renewing you guys like week to week?
Yeah, they were at one point week to week. And I guess there was one point where we were unofficially, technically taken off the air.
Nah.
Where on a Friday they told Conan got to live an entire weekend thinking that his show had been canceled. And then
Now
on
he
Monday,
gets to live a life like that. Thanks, NBC.
Now he knows for sure.
But but they didn't. Conan and Jeff Ross, our producer, never let anybody know all the like really ugliness. It's like they were the parents not letting us know that we're any moment going to be evicted. We just sort of chugged along, making the show and trying to. But there were points when it seemed to uptick. Like there was one of the first things was David Letterman came on the show, and that got a lot of attention, and he sort of gave us his papal blessing, and then our ratings just kept going up and up and up and up, and after a couple of years of not crashing and burning and failing. And also, too, them not being able to get their shit together to find somebody to replace us. Because they were trying to get Greg Kinnear to replace us, and they were taping secret, because he was on after us, and they were taping, like, secret hour-long shows out
that's
here.
fucked up.
That were tanking, that were shitty. We just would hear like in over the transom, they tape some test shows, hour-long test shows with Kinnear, and they're awful. And at the same time, he was becoming a movie star, so he wasn't into the idea of it either.
Well, it's just a test.
So it's not just that we're so great; it's also that they didn't.
Yeah, but it's a testament and something that does not exist much in the TV business anymore, which is, whether they did it by will or because they had nothing else to put on, they let your show grow.
Yes,
and
yes.
like now shows get like an episode, 2 episodes, and if they're not mega hits, they're fucking gone.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you're going to get more loyal fan base if you let a show develop a little bit, give it room to breathe and grow and get better. I mean, no show is amazing the first season,
Yeah.
pretty much. like the first couple episodes of Arrested Development are still like, okay, I see where they're going, and then it gets amazing. But if they didn't let that, or The Simpsons, like the first season of The Simpsons is almost unwatchable.
Yeah, and well, now it is. At the time, it still was.
It was pretty cutting edge,
And it's
really
come full
different.
circle.
Yeah.
Everybody. No, I still like The Simpsons.
Well, anyway, I don't want to dominate any more of your time, but Andy Richter, is there anything you want to promote? There's at least a couple hundred people that listen to this.
Well, we're on tour, I guess. I think they're all sold out. So,
So go fuck yourselves.
yeah, go fuck yourselves. Or, no, I guess. I don't know. No, not really. Well, if we come to your town, look around at
The Andy
7-Elevens
Richter
and
wagon
stuff.
is coming down the street. What can it be?
Find out
for
what
me?
hotel I'm staying at and look up at the windows, and you might see the curtains drawn, and that'll be me.
You just might see a pressed ham up against the glass.
He knows fucking someone?
He's nose fucking someone.
That's right.
Well,
You're
awesome.
mayor.
What I do want people to know about you is that you are a delightful and super nice guy.
Oh, thank
in
you.
addition to being super funny. I mean, I know as young comics, we all were, you were definitely an influence on all of us. So,
thank you.
So we certainly appreciate you taking the time
That makes me feel old.
to come to this. I used to watch you
We're
when
just
I
young.
was. I get that now from people who are like, I watched Singled Out when I was in 4th grade.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
You look like an adult now.
Yeah, I am an adult now. I've had 3 abortions.
What's wrong with your voice?
3 abortions.
This is what happens.
That's right, kids.
That's a record for Christmas elves.
That's right, kids. Remember what Andy Richter says. If you want to look like an adult, have a couple abortions.
Yeah, it ages you really nicely,
It'll make you grow up.
like a steak.
Cigarettes are so 60s. Abortions are what the kids are doing to look older now.
Yeah.
Look at Samantha in the 7th grade. She's had 3 abortions already. She looks hot.
I can't believe I got to show my ID when I buy a pack of abortions now.
A pack of abortions roaming the countryside.
They're
I
cheaper
save
that
money.
way.
I buy them by the
Yeah,
carton.
they're cheaper that
just
way.
gotta do.
Carton of
on the
abortion.
So
internet.
abortions are in a pack, right?
Yeah, I buy a pack of them at a time. Should buy them by the carton though. It'd be cheaper that way.
Sometimes when I go to Nevada, I get them. They're cheaper.
All right, guys. The end.
Over and out.
Hey guys, it's Chris. Thanks for listening to the Nerdist Podcast number 7 with Andy Richter. All right, couple quick announcements before I let go of your ears and let you get on with your day. Live shows. If you live in Los Angeles, we're going to be doing the Nerdist Podcast live at Largo. Our special guest will be Adam Savage of Mythbusters. I don't know if he's going to bust any myths, but maybe if you think there's a myth that he can't speak in public, then he'll bust that by speaking in public on our show. That happens Monday, April 5th. Also, April 10th, Seattle, Washington. I enjoy Seattle. I'll be doing stand-up there with Mike Furman of Hard and Firm. There might be some songs played, so come on out to that. Details on these shows are at, of course, Nerdist.com. And say, if you want to email us, you now have the power to do so with the fabulous Nerdist Podcast email, which is, quite logically, podcast@Nerdist.com. And lastly, I would like to say a very sincere and heartfelt thanks to you for continuing to listen to this podcast. I mean, a lot more people are listening to this than we thought were going to, so I don't know how it happened, but we certainly appreciate it. So on behalf of myself and Matt and Jonah, honestly, thank you so much. And we hope you stick with us and enjoy the episodes to come. Hooray! Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.